Hey guys, so this is Amelia. She's my roommate now.
What?
Yay! And we also both happen to be in long distance relationships. So we're gonna talk about how you do that.
I mean, I feel like we're both like kind of like similar distance from our partners, just like opposite. Like,
yeah.
because I'm dating someone who lives in London.
And I'm dating someone who lives in California.
So, and we're on the east, we're in New York.
Yeah. So we got them in both
like
directions.
We're both in very long distance relationships.
Right. Yeah, and like both of our relationships were like, we were already long distance and like we knew each other.
Yeah.
The entire time as long distance, and then we just started dating. The time difference is weird because like for you, Emily is like 5 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And so it's always a lot later there, whereas like for me, like I'm always the first one like going to bed and stuff because it's like later here.
It's like if Emily didn't, like Emily stays up so late. Like sometimes we go to bed at like the same time because our sleeping schedule is so awful. It's good that it's that way because if it was the opposite way, like I go to bed pretty early. So it'd be a lot harder.
Besides Emily just staying up really late, how do you navigate that?
Like we try to plan like earlier in the week, like a time that we can like FaceTime. Well, like recently if I'm walking back from like a training event or whatever, like something I'm working, I'll like call her when I'm walking back from the subway or something, because it's not like I have anything else to do in that time. Rabbit, which you've talked about, told us about.
There's a little website that you can use to like watch movies and like YouTube and stuff together at the same time while like video chatting. Ezra and I have the same thing where like we'll have times to talk throughout the week where like we both know that we have free time.
Yeah.
It gives us time together even when like time differences are happening or like just us being busy.
I think we definitely do it at least once a week, which is like kind of like what we agreed on when we started dating.
Segue into things we talk about before you get into a long distance relationship. So when you and Emily started dating, you kind of like came to me and Ezra for advice on how to do it because we have been doing it like a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think something that Mel and Ezra helped us realize is that it's important to like lay down like exactly how the relationship's going to work, like ways you're gonna like make time for each other or how you're going to like make the long distance feel less awful before you even start dating. That way you kind of know if like, oh, we want the same things and we need the same things when we're in a long distance relationship, or we can like, even if they're different, we can still like do that for each other.
I think it's important to like know what you want but also what you need, because sometimes those are very different things. You know, what you need is always more important, and if you're not gonna get that from the relationship, then you need to be aware of that and like make your decisions based on that, because it's just not gonna go well if you're not getting what you need. I think with long distance specifically, like something that was really important is that like long distance sucks, but it also shouldn't suck.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be like mourning the fact that you're in a long distance relationship if you're in one. Obviously you're gonna be like, oh, I wish we could like be in the same place. You'll miss them, but you shouldn't feel like you're just like constantly giving things up for the relationship. Like you should overall like feel happy even though it's long distance.
It should like add something to your life. Like you shouldn't just be miserable all the time, like in any relationship. But I think that's something people don't really think about when they're all in long distance. They're like, I love this person, so we should be together no matter what.
And like that's definitely something I had to like sit down and think about a lot before I got into the relationship, because I was like, well, I would be giving up the opportunity to be in like a physical relationship with someone, but like ultimately it came down to the fact that it wouldn't be the person that I wanted it to be, and so like that was worth doing the long distance, and I don't feel like I'm constantly like sacrificing my happiness to be in it, you know?
If you know you're not going to be miserable, like you really have to do some like self-exploration, and also in that conversation like with your partner, like can we give each other what we want?
And I also like don't want it to seem like it should be easy.
Yeah.
When you first get into it, like it takes like a lot of learning, which like I think a lot of relationships do. Long distance is like difficult if like you haven't done it before. Having reoccurring conversations about how you think it's going and like if anything needs to change is really helpful.
Yeah, like constantly reevaluating. It's easier to like put off those kind of conversations when you're not like long distance or you're just in like a traditional relationship.
Yeah, like you said, like even in just like traditional relationships, like everyone you date is going to be different, and so you're going to need to learn different ways to go about dating them. I think it just requires like a little bit more effort if you're like doing long distance for the first time.
You're discovering parts of yourself that you probably didn't know about before, which is pretty neat.
I think you learn a lot about yourself in like any relationship, but like
Yeah.
because like long distance requires like so much self-evaluation, you're like pushed to do that.
That brings me to journaling. Highly recommend. Well, no, that's like no, but like part of the way I've like been able to learn about myself like in that way is by like writing down my thoughts or like things like that. So that's why I said journaling.
I get that.
Especially because like with like the time difference, like they're not always there to talk to, you know? So sometimes like I write stuff down.
Yeah, and that is like still something I'm working on a lot because I'm like very much like an attention thirsty hoe. And like in past relationships, the other person like has been there to talk like pretty much all the time, so it's been like a learning experience to like have space in that way. In physical relationships where you're together, even when you're apart, like you don't feel like you're apart really, whereas like in long distance, like it can feel a little bit more lonely because like they're so far away and you're not like a part of their physical life. And so that can be hard, but it's like definitely like something that's healthy to work on.
We've both like tweeted about this before, but like how invalidating it can feel to be in a long distance relationship. Kind of because like what we said before, how it's like non-traditional, but also the fact that like they're not there with you in person, so people can be like really dismissive, like people that are in your life in person. Like if I like mention Emily, people will be like, oh, but have you met? It's weird that like that's what a lot of people need to know in order for it to be like valid, that like we have been together in person, like that's what validates the relationship, which is weird to me.
I think like one of like the really beautiful things about like long distance relationships is that like you're so happy with them that you don't need that.
Yeah.
You care about them so much that like it doesn't have to be like in person all the time, and I think that says a lot.
Did we talk about this already? Like how it's nice to know like someone else in a long distance relationship?
Yeah.
Like we would never invalidate each other's relationships.
Yeah, like honestly, like when you and Emily got in a relationship, I was like, finally someone will like understand. Because like you have like friends who are like, oh, I won't be with my partner for the summer or whatever. And I'm like, but you'll see them in 3 months, you know? And they don't have to pay like hundreds of dollars for a plane ticket.
Did you mean thousands? It is interesting, like I feel like you have to like learn how to like really be your own person while still in a relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is like the opposite can happen a lot of times when people start dating. Sometimes it can feel weird like turning down plans with like people in the physical world to have like a video chat date. I don't know, I guess sometimes for me like it feels like I shouldn't like turn down plans to like talk to someone over like video chat. Like it just feels weird.
For me, like it's really important for both people in the long distance relationship to like treat the other person like it's like an IRL relationship, and like that's a rule that I try to live by when I'm making my decisions. If I have plans with Ezra first, like anyone else who tries to make plans with me during that time, like I just say no. If I had a date with someone I was dating in real life, I wouldn't be like, we're gonna reschedule the date because I made plans afterwards, you know?
That's a really good point.
And that's probably like the number one advice I would give to people is just like,
really good.
you know, just doing anything in a relationship, like you need to treat it like it's you know, a physical relationship. You know, it shouldn't be like put on the sidelines, you know, because it is your relationship.
You don't want to invalidate your own relationship like that. I'm like just like I've never heard that advice before, and now I feel like my eyes are open.
Even just like, you know, like thinking about like little tiny things that you would do in like physical relationships that you can, you know, there's always a way to incorporate that in your like long distance relationship too. You're like in like the more, not like early stages of being in a long distance relationship, but you've been like,
we've been dating for less time than you and Ezra.
Yeah, so like do you have any insight about like being at that point in your relationship?
I think something for us that's been nice to keep in mind is like we've been talking about like how you have to figure out so much stuff about like yourself and the other person, and like long distance relationships in general. Like it's okay if it takes a really long time to figure it out. Like I mean you'll probably be doing it constantly. There can be this pressure to like know all this stuff like right away, but it's really an ongoing thing.
I've been in a relationship for like over a year, and like I'm still like learning things and like working through stuff, and like that's just something you have to do in every relationship the entire time you're in the relationship, you know.
Just don't be scared to like know that you're still working on it, because I think like there's a point for us where we were like, why don't we still know exactly like how we should feel about this? You know what, it's okay, we can still figure stuff out.
Yeah, and you can be happy and confused at the same time.
Yeah,
you know?
That's me all the time. Really asking questions. I've been really scared to ask questions like before, and you just like really have to let yourself be a curious person.
Like questions about what?
Whether it's like the other person's life in general, or like how someone else makes like a long distance relationship work, or just asking for advice on anything, I Google like any question that pops into my head. Like when you told us about Rabbit, I was like, I wonder what else there is. Or like if I wanted to send like Emily flowers, I Google like flower shops in the UK. I know that's like pretty like surface level stuff, but it's just important to ask questions. And that kind of goes with like figuring each other out too. You're not going to be able to learn something about the other person unless you ask. Like you can't always expect someone to tell you.
I'm like a slut for like good communication
Yeah.
in relationships. It's different between long distance relationships and like in-person relationships when you're dealing with conflict. I think in my personal experience, it's a lot easier to deal with conflict when you're in person.
Yeah.
Because like one, you can like get tone a lot better. Also like Ezra and I like spent like a month together over the summer. It was a lot easier to just be able to like hug it out, you know, and like do like I would like make them a cup of tea to like show them that I was like sorry for something, and like it's a lot easier to fix things in person. And so like I think it's really important when you're not in person to ask questions and be like really specific in what you need, because it's very hard to like read someone's mind and try to like, you know, figure out what they want. One, you need to tell them how you're feeling in like a healthy way, and then the other person like needs to like be able to give you what you need, which involves like communicating what you need. Figuring out your love languages is really important. I don't know if you've done that.
That's not like how you show affection kind of thing.
There's a website you can go on, and it's just called the 5 Love Languages.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this.
And there is like words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, quality time, and receiving gifts. You like take a little quiz, and it like tells you like the ranking of your love language and like how that's like how you express it, but also how you want to receive it. And I've been like meaning to like retake it with Ezra. I haven't done it in like over a year, I think. Knowing your love language and also your partner's is like really important, especially for long distance relationships. I feel
like Emily's really good at like showing her love through like talking and like words, whereas I'm like not at all. So that was definitely like something it probably took us too long to talk about, but like once we did, we were like, okay, this makes like more sense to each other now. I think it's important for long distance to like try and get better at like communicating love through words for obvious reasons, but it's like not necessarily something that comes naturally to me. So it's like just the fact that like I expressed that like helped us so much.
You don't have to be the exact same way, but you just have to have an understanding of like how the other person is going to show you, but also like how you can attempt to show the other person in like their love language. It's such a good way to like analyze your relationship and like figure out what works. Being able to express love in different ways is really helpful, I think. So yeah, those are just some things to like help you figure out if you want to do long distance. Just some tips from some experienced kids over here doing it. You can let us know in the comments how you make things work in like a long distance relationship or just an in-person relationship. Also, you should go check out Amelia's channel because you're gonna see a lot of her now that we're living together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.